Moi everyone and welcome to Finish Your Plate. It's New Year again and Finns love to shoot fireworks at New Year's, but they also like to have little sausages, little hot dogs for New Year's, especially with some Finnish mustard and some cold salads. Like in this case, I have a potato salad that has some bacon in it and it has milk-based dressing in it as opposed to more mayonnaise-y dressing that Americans have. So join me and I'll show you how to make this typical Finnish New Year dish. First, let's fry up some bacon. I have here 2 strips of bacon. We don't need a whole lot, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut it into pretty small pieces. And we're gonna render out the fat and make it crispy. We're gonna save the fat too for later. And this is thick cut bacon that I'm using here. So we're gonna fry this on medium heat or so, not too high, so this way we can render out the fat. While my bacon is cooking, I'm just going to turn the heat down a little bit. I'm going to prep my potatoes. These are cute little small baby potatoes, baby white potatoes or gold potatoes. So these are pretty much nice size. I'm going to cut them maybe in half though, make them bite size. So if you have bigger potatoes, just cut them about bite-sized pieces. And just going to check them that they haven't sprouted. There's not too much dirt on these or anything. Whether you want to peel them or have them with the peel on, that's up to you. Bigger potatoes like this, I'll just cut them in 3 parts. Now the bacon is mostly rendered, so I'm just going to turn off the heat and put it over here to wait. And I'm just going to salt my water. And we're going to put our potatoes in the water and we're going to cook these until they are soft. While my potatoes are cooking over here, I'm just going to prep my herbs. I have some dill, I have some parsley, curly parsley, and some scallion. So I'm just going to wash these quick and then I'm going to just chop them. My scallion. Take a good amount of parsley. In Finnish cooking, curly parsley is the more common one. Flat leaf parsley does exist, but most often you'll see curly parsley. They are pretty much interchangeable in many ways. Some people say that flat leaf parsley has a stronger flavor. Honestly, I don't think I could really tell the difference too much. So if you have one or the other, use it. Don't go out of your way to find the other type curly if you don't have it. And now the dill. Dill, of course, is a mainstay in Finnish cooking, and a lot of people, they like to even put dill in the water when they're cooking potatoes, which does give it kind of nice flavor. especially in the summertime. That's common with fresh potatoes. So let's make a dressing for the potatoes. In American potato salad, mayo is the most common base. In Finland, maybe not so much. A lot of times in the Finnish recipes, you'll see base being kermaviili, which is, if you've seen my episode on viili, viili is a very unique fermented milk product in Finland, and kermaviili is specifically made from cream rather than milk. But it's not really available in the US, and there's no close substitute. You could, of course, make it yourself, but if you don't want to go through the process of making kermaviili yourself, you could use fermented milk products, make a really good alternative. So I have here some Creme fraiche and then some Greek yogurt that I'm going to use mostly for my base. I'm going to put a little bit of mayo in too for extra creaminess, but just so you know that Finnish potato salad most often has milk-based sauce. So I'm gonna add, that's a very heaping tablespoon of yogurt. Then creme fraiche, about double the amount. And now I'm gonna add some mayo, about the same amount that I used yogurt. And now we'll add the bacon fat. Make sure this is kind of cooled down at least a little bit so your milk products don't curdle. Leave the bacon in though, don't put the bacon in quite yet. There we go. We'll start mixing. And now we'll add dill, scallion, parsley. I would say about a tablespoon each, equal amounts. We'll add some sweet hot mustard, again about a tablespoon. And we will squeeze in a lemon. We'll add a little white pepper, maybe about a quarter teaspoon or so. Now taste it before adding salt. Your ingredients, specifically the bacon fat, could have some salt in it. So let's taste it first, just make sure how much salt it needs. It needs a little bit, not as much as you would think. Just mix it all together, make sure everything's mixed in. Okay, now our potatoes are soft, but they're not falling apart yet. So I'm going to turn off the heat. I'm going to drain these. There's my potatoes. And I'm going to add the bacon bits together with whatever leftover grease was left. So now that my potatoes are cool to the touch, I'm just going to add my dressing. So this is kind of the important part now. This is going to go in the fridge for at least a couple hours. I have here some hot dogs. These are in natural casing, first of all, so they're going to have a nice snap to them. But also they are made from pork and beef blend, which is probably going to be the most close alternative to the ones we have in Finland. Pork is a very common ingredient in hot dogs in Finland. Maybe pork and chicken a lot of times. But before we heat this up, we're gonna make a little spiced broth to heat them up in. I just have here some just plain water. I'm going to put in a few bay leaves and some allspice. And I'm going to take an onion, just quickly quarter it and take the skin off. And I'm going to put the onion in here too. This is a big onion, so I'm not going to use the whole thing. Now I'm going to let this come to simmer, and I'm going to simmer my spices here for maybe about 5 minutes or so. Now about 5 minutes has passed, so I'm just going to drop in my sausages. I'm going to cover them and literally just let this come to bubble, one bubble, and then I'm going to kill the heat. There we go. It just came to a boil, so I'm going to take it off the heat. And I'm going to let this sit for another 10 minutes. Okay, about 10 minutes has passed. Let's take our hot dogs out. See, they are pretty plump now, but they also did not split. So if you do not boil them, they will not split and you'll retain that snap when you eat them. You could keep them in hot water for quite a while. Just remember, don't boil them. Do not even simmer them. And here's the potato salad we made. And of course, you have to have some mustard. Let me see how much mustard I have left here, Finnish mustard. There we go. I feel like there's something missing though. Hold on. Here we go. Now I'm ready for the new year. First things first. All right, so let's taste the sausage. I'm going to dip it in the mustard. Cooking them in the broth makes them super tender and moist. And I don't know if you can hear it on the microphone, the snap, but that's really nice. Let's try the potato salad. It's just, even though we added the pork fat, the bacon fat, and of course there's some mayo in here, it's still a very light feeling texture, light feeling taste. Compared to your standard potato salad. Of course, the lemon too helps a lot. So together, it's definitely make a really nice New Year's meal. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next year on Finish Your Plate.